Well, hi, this is Richard Noble, attorney, and I'm sharing my computer screen with you today on this video to show you how you as a client could submit information to Oregon Legal Center about your assets. It's done via the Hot Docs Document Services website. And what you're seeing right here is I set up an email account for a fictitious client called John Rowe. I sent an email to him via Hot Docs to give him a link so that he can click on to get to the website where he can fill in the answers to the questions. So why don't we go ahead. Here's the email. It says, I'm sending you a link. Your answers are encrypted. Click the following link. You see a short video. Well, I haven't done that yet, but there's going to be a video when you get yours. This is the video I'm making right now. When you're ready to proceed with it, you click the link below. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's click the link below. Now what it does is, since I sent you this email, it's already set up. I've already set up an account for you. It's got your email address. This is John Rose. It's got a temporary password. So what you're going to do now, you sign in, and it's going to give you a chance to pick out your own password. And that password you want to save, because you're going to need that password if you decide to take a break and come back later and continue with the interview. So let's go ahead and click sign in. And see, it says your password has expired. All that means is that the temporary password has expired that we gave you. So now you have to type in a new password. And here, take your mouse and just click in to the box, and you can start typing. The password has to be between 8 and 50 characters, has to include at least one uppercase and one lowercase letter and one number. So the password I've picked is Apple Orange, for the A in Apple and the O in Orange are capitalized, and there's a number 1 at the end. So I'm just going to type that in now. A-P-P-L-E, capital O-A-R-N-G-E 1. Take the mouse and just hover over the next box and click. Type it again. A-P-P-L-E, capital O-R-A-N-G-E 1. Says it's good. Hope I typed it right. Let's see. Oh, I didn't type it right. Well, that's a good point. So if this happens to you, you probably just typed it in wrong. I wasn't paying attention. Do it one more time. One more time. See if it works this time. Looks like I was correct. Now this is the first screen you're going to see. Let's just take a look at how this works. You got basically an area in white here, kind of on the right hand side. This is the area of the screen where you're going to be typing in or clicking in to answer questions. Over on the left-hand side, in kind of this bluish color, is the interview outline. And it has, you see right now, it's kind of got a highlight over client information. Well, that's the screen we're in right now. And it's sort of a table of contents. You can click on any of these different links, and it will take you to that particular page. So we've got client information. You can get to this. You can get to the client address information by just taking the mouse and clicking on it, or you can go down here and click next. So I'll highlight over, put the mouse over next and go, first I got to pick what it is. I'm going to pretend John Rowe's married. And so we're going to click here for married couple. And we have to fill in this screen. So he's a married couple, and the husband first, John Q. And I use the tab key to get to the next box. Well, you can also just use the mouse and click down here, or the tab key. And this is Jane Q. Rowe. You could have put junior or senior if you wanted to here. So this page is all filled out. Now we're going to go next. So see how it's kind of moved down now. The highlighting's on the next screen, which is the client address. Let's just make up an address. 1234 Southwest River Road, Lake Oswego. Now, if I just hit the tab key, it goes to Oregon. Tab key over to zip code 97034. Tab, or click with the mouse down here. Now you don't have to type the parentheses, just type a number. So 503. 6356666. Let's just make that up. So now I go next. Now this, you see it's moved down here from client address now to the new asset information. It looks, so here's where we're going to fill in information. Just think of these as index cards. It doesn't matter how what order you fill the assets in. You could start with real property, you could start, which is up here, or you could start with savings bonds, or any place you want to start. And you don't have to list all the bank accounts in any order. You can list them in any order you want, just as you do it. What I'd suggest you do is get all your information together for providing information about these assets. And basically we need the name, the address, the account number. If it's real estate, we need the lender information. If you've sold something to somebody on contract, like land sale contract, we need to know the address of the property. If it's a business, we need to know name of the business, address, what type of business it is. It's all pretty obvious things. And every time these things are a little bit differently each time you click them. So like if you do real estate, the form looks a little bit different than it does if you click, say personal property. It's just that each asset has a little different information you have to fill in. Let's just go through a couple of them and see how it works. Let's start with real property. So we're in the first asset. This is the first asset. It's called real property now that I've selected real property. The first thing you have to say is, what kind of asset is it? Well, this is real property. The next thing you have to answer is, how is this asset currently owned? Whether it's owned by, and you see how it's put in John and Jane. I typed in up here, client information, I typed that it was John and Jane, and the form knows enough when you start doing information about these assets. It knows who, John owns it or Jane owns it. And there's a lot of different choices here, but if you're just filling this out for the first time, you've never done estate planning, it's probably going to be either John owns this real estate individually, or Jane owns the real estate individually, or John and Jane own it jointly. It's not in a trust if they haven't done a trust. But if you're providing information, you already have assets in a trust, well, you can select which trust or which trusts own it. If it's sometimes we do work for people who already have their trust done, or some other attorney did the trust. We're just going to do amendment. We need to know more about what's in the trusts. But so in this case, John and Jane haven't done any estate planning. They don't have a trust, so we're going to say that this first real estate, this is their, let's say it's their home. Well, they own it together as husband and wife. That's how they bought it. Then you go down here and put the value. Let's put $400,000 down here. Now, the form goes down. You don't see the whole form here. There's a slider bar over here on the right-hand side. If you take the mouse and just click it and drag it down, you can see the rest of the fill-in area. So this is their address. Now, just to demonstrate to you how this form can save a little time, I forget what I put down for their address. But I have it already typed back here under client address information. So why don't I just take the mouse and point to client address information, click once, that other form opens up. And see, here's the address, 1234 Southwest River Road. If I just click in there and I drag the mouse and highlight it, and I do a right mouse click and do copy, and I go back to that real estate card I was filling out, where I have to put in the street address, and I click in street address and type right mouse click and go paste, and copy and paste. That comes in really handy if you're adding information like on, say, Bank of America, and you've got 4 Bank of America accounts, and you don't want to have to type Bank of America address on 4 different index cards. You can copy and paste to save time. Or you can just type it in each time if you want. The city, this was Lake Oswego, I remember that. I'm just going to type it in. Now I click the tab key from the Lake Oswego. I click the tab and it put me into the state box, and it's kind of highlighted in blue. Now I could just do the drop down here if I wanted. It has all the states and just pick the one. But if I just hit the O key once, it says Ohio. Hit the O key twice, it says Oklahoma. And the O key 3 times, it says Oregon. That's kind of handy when you're typing in the state for these different types of assets, maybe all these different bank accounts you own. The tab key, 97034. It wants to know if there's a mortgage. Well, there is. It's worth $400, but I owe $200 on it. It's Wells Fargo. That's the lender. I'm going to make up an address. First Avenue, Portland. Now see, if I hit the tab key here, I'm in the state. It's empty, so I go Oregon 97201. What type of real estate is it? Well, it's my primary residence. Say, okay, I get this mortgage number off the account statement. I'm looking one up here. What's the loan balance? Well, I owe $200,000 on it. Okay, I filled in all the forms. It's important to make sure you fill in all the blank spaces because we need this information to effectively do your estate planning. And so I've finished it up. Now, you don't. The tendency might be to hit next when you want to do the next asset, but you really, there's a little warning up here. It says, to add another asset, click the Add Asset button. Well, that's this button over here, not the next button. It says, not the next button. Don't hit the next button. Why? Well, if you hit the next button, it's going to take you down to the feedback form and sort of the end of the interview. You have to be in this one. You have to use add another asset to make another asset. So I'll just demonstrate that. Say you make a mistake and hit the next button. See, it's highlighted feedback and comments. So I can type something in here. I can say we are refinancing our home. Should it stay out of the trust until that occurs? Question mark. So I can make a comment. You could ask a question or say, I don't like this form, I don't understand something, and send it to me and we can talk more about it. But so I've done that, but really I want to add another asset. I want to add a bank account. So I just go back to real property, go down to the bottom, follow the instructions, add asset button. To add another asset, click the add asset button. I do it, and another one opens up here now. So here's a new asset. So, but as soon as I pick what it is, say it's a bank or brokerage account, I'm going to select, take the mouse, point it over the little circle, click once. All of a sudden it says bank or brokerage. See, now it's bank or brokerage account. Wants me to fill in the information. Who owns it? John. Let's say John owns it himself. They're not joint on this account. Let's say it's $5,000. What's the name of it? Bank of America. Let's see. The address, 22 Market Street, San Francisco. Tab. Now, if I just start typing C, the first alphabetized state is California. It pops up. Zip code 9922022. Just make it up. What's the type of account? Let's say it's a checking account. What's the account number? 44. I'll make one up. Are there any pay on death beneficiaries? Well, there aren't on this one, but I want to show you what if there were. Sometimes people have pay on death beneficiaries. For like if John died, I would go to his kids or something. So you'd say yes, you'd type in the beneficiaries, the primary, the alternate. But this case is no, so I'm going to say no. I filled in this form. Let's add one more asset. Click add another asset. See the third one opens up now. Now I can go back and look at any of these cards. Let's just say that we're going to do the personal property here. So, but I want to go back and look at something else. So I click back on real property. You know, I can see that card. I want to look back at the client information. I can see that card. I want to go back to the personal property. I click on that card. Just by clicking, it'll take you through these various cards you've done. Here's the personal property. It's owned by John and Jane jointly. Say it's about $20,000. I put 200. Well, $20,000. That's all there is on this one. Add another asset. So there's the new asset. Another card. Let's say we have a business. It's owned by John and Jane jointly. Its current value is $225,000. Just scroll down, see the rest of the information. What's the name of it? Well, let's just call it Health Net LLC. And let's put the address down as 333 Oak Street, Salem, Oregon, 97333. Just making that up. They want to know what type of entity is it. Well, it's an LLC. So click down, pick LLC. Oh, I picked C. See, I just clicked it wrong. Put LLC. Ooh, come on. LLC. What is going on here? I can't seem to get it to work. LLC. There we go. Percentage interest, they own it all. Or it could be 50%. Well, that's all done. Add another asset. Well, now I've got the, the phone is ringing and I've got to go talk to somebody, and I'm afraid this is not going to I'm going to lose all this information. What do I want to do? Well, this is a great idea as you go through it. You want to go up here to the top with the mouse, click Save Answers. Answers saved. In fact, I'd recommend doing that frequently as you're working through this form, just in case there's a power outage or something. Saved your answers. Well, let's just say I want to save my answers, but I want to come back. Now, what you don't want to do is don't hit the Submit button. You only do that when you're all done, because you can't go back and put in more information once you've hit Submit. But you can log off temporarily. So you save your answers. You go up here where you see your email address. There's a little triangle. You put the mouse right on it. It opens up a little window. One of the options is Sign Out. Well, that's what we want to do. We want to sign out. So we're going to, it says, confirm navigation. This interview has not been submitted. That's the Submit button. No, we didn't do that. You will lose any unsaved changes. Well, we saved everything. Are you sure you want to leave the page? Yes, we're going to leave it because we've saved everything. So we say, leave this page. So it signed us out. Now, what we want to do is we want to be able to go back. We want to go back on again. So just pretend some time has gone by, and a day or so. We want to go back and finish up the work. Well, you got to go find the email you got from me back in your email inbox. And let's see if I can do that right now. So here's the inbox. The email that I sent to John Rowe. I'm John Rowe, and I've gone back to my inbox, and I want to go back onto the Hot Docs Document Services server and finish the interview. So what you want to do is you just go back where you clicked in originally, and you go click here. So it opens it up. Now, you see it's got your email address, but this was just the temporary password. Remember, that's been disabled. So we want to just hit the delete key and delete that. And here's where you're going to type in the password, the unique password that you put in when you signed up. Remember, you typed it 2 times, and the one I typed was Apple Orange 1. So you type that one in here. I'm just going to type it A-P-P-L-E, capital O-R-A-N-G-E 1, and I'm going to sign in. It's going to take me back to the interview form where I was before a day earlier. See, it's got all the client information, client address. The assets, you see a little plus key here? They're hidden. They're all here, but you click the plus key, it opens them up. Those are the ones we did. Let's add one more. So we go down here, we go down to where they add another asset. Let's add one more asset. Let's call this, I don't know, what do you think? You've done real property, bank, personal property, business. Let's do a timeshare. Some people have timeshares. So here's a timeshare. Now it says timeshare. See, we're in the 5th asset, timeshare. This is where you fill in the information. It's owned by John and Jane jointly. Its current value, let's say it's worth $25,000. Here's the information of where the timeshare is. Well, let's say this is in Hawaii. So this is 22 Aloha. Let's make this up. Aloha Lane. And the unit number is 333, and the city is Kihei. And then I tabbed over. I'm going to type the H, Hawaii, first one. I don't know what the zip code is. I'm just going to make one up, 33333. And so then they want to know who manages this timeshare. Well, this would be Hawaii. I'm making this up. Come on. Hawaii Timeshare Management. Street address 222 Alani Avenue, Honolulu, Hawaii 33331, say. So that's it. I put in all the information. I'm going to say add another asset. Now I'm just going to pretend this is it. I've added everything. I've gone through all the stuff I own. I've added a card for each one here, and I'm all done now. And I decide it's final. When you hit the submit, you can't come back and add more information. When you hit the submit, I get an email that says you've submitted this. and then I'm going to take a look at it. And if there's something that I don't understand, I'll just email you and get some more information. So don't worry about it. Just go ahead. If you think you're done, just go ahead. Even if you didn't know maybe all the answers, just click submit, and that's it. It's really, the more you can give to me, the better job I can do. So it's important that you take the time to answer all the questions. Well, I'm done now. I'm going to save my answers here. I'm going to hit submit. Are you sure? Once you submit this form, you will no longer be able to return to it. And that means if you try and go back to that email that I sent you and you click here again and type your password, Apple Orange 1, it's not going to work. That's what that means. So I'm done. I've saved everything. I'm ready to submit. I go OK. And this is, you'll get this message that says the interview is complete and I'll be contacting you. Well, thanks for watching this. I hope it works. And I'm going to just sign off at this point.